Hello, everybody. Well, this is going to be an interesting evening, but I wasn't going to reschedule anything again. Um, but PCT is having some stuff going on that she's afraid may interfere with us trying to do our little live thing. So we're going to try to reschedule that with her on another occasion. It shouldn't be too long, but I just don't want her getting stressed out, and it's hard if you're going to go live and you have a lot going on in the background. If you're on a panel, trust me, I know the whole time I've ever done anything with paneling, I've either had people stop by that normally don't stop by, or other phone calls coming in, or dogs barking. There's only a few sections of the day when things are kind of quiet and still. So, well, welcome, Smiley Miley. Welcome to Wild Angels Bucket List Adventures. I'm so sorry about last evening. Hello, Tiffles. Hi, love. You set an alarm last night. Yeah. So we had some folks that came in last night, and I was really trying to reschedule that and thought I had done it. There goes the dog, like I said. And actually, what I had done is I'd gone in there, but I hadn't pushed save it to change it. So PCT noticed it too, so she caught it, and then I went in and fixed it real quick. But yeah, so I didn't want to leave anybody hanging, so I thought, okay, well, I'll go come on here and hang out with y'all for a little bit, and yeah, we'll go from there. Um, but yeah, so if anybody wants to pop in and hang out, sorry about last night. I did put a community post up as well as on here, letting everybody know. Um, you know how life is; things just kind of pop up, and you don't know, you never know what's going to happen. So yeah, so I thought I'd come on here and chat with you guys and hang out for a little bit, and then it'd be great if something would change and we could have a surprise and still have our live. But I think I can entertain you guys a little bit for a little while here, and I'll repost this one for a time when it'll work. Yesterday was kind of weird. First, I had the time wrong because I was putting Tina's time, PCT's time, instead of mine. And then all that stuff happened in the meantime of me trying to fix that. So it was interesting. But I went live earlier for a little bit, and we did the garden update and got that all under wraps. So what's everybody doing out there this evening? Let me share my referral link because it seems like did it work? Okay, share your referral link. Did it do it? Yes, it did. There it is. So I have this new thing on here that you can share your referral link, which is interesting. But yeah, so I was reading stuff from last night. These were the two people that came in last night before they saw my rescheduled live. So yeah, if anybody else is out there and wants to come up and hang out and chit chat, I'm here. I got a little bit of time, and then it'll be on to a new project because I'm getting ready to stain almost a 13-foot piece of crown. Peggy, how are you doing? And my husband bought it in linear foot, so he got 15 feet, and I was like, why'd you get a foot and a half extra? And he's like, well, wanted to make sure it was going to be enough. Well, it barely fits down the hallway, y'all, because it's such a long piece of crown, like that trim that goes up along the ceiling. And so yeah, he's got to cut that down. It's going to take 2 tables put together to be able to hold that long piece for me to stain it, so it'll be interesting. Yeah, so you just came in, Peggy. What I was saying is so me and PCT were going to go live last night, and then I had the times wrong, and I got that fixed. And in the middle of fixing that, she had something come up, and so did I. And then I had to go in and try to, like, I thought I had set it to reschedule it, and didn't push save, so it was still on the old one. So finally got it fixed, but it was in very short notice. And she just reached out to me a few hours ago, and she's having some issues, and she was afraid they might interfere with the live. So we're gonna do it on another occasion, unless something changes. While she's watching this, if something changes, she'll pop in. But I just thought, I didn't want to reschedule again and leave anybody hanging at all. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll go live and chit chat with you guys for a little bit and see what everybody's doing out there, and we'll go from there. Um, so yeah, we what we're gonna do it on the live is gonna be OMG, oh my god, wow moments. Last time we did on her channel, we did pet peeves. And so I thought we'd do the flip side of that and talk about, and everybody's OMG moments can be positive, they could be scary ones, they can be anything, but that's kind of what our discussion is going to be about. And so I won't like start that tonight, but I'm just giving you guys heads up. That's what we plan to do. And if any of you guys are out there with new channels or are looking to start StreamYard, um, I have a referral link here that gives you a $10 discount, so check it out. They didn't have that deal when I started StreamYard, so I guess that's a nice starter discount, right? Yeah, I know. I'm just sitting here chilling. Dogs are being quiet. Um, Trying to see why I can't see the dog. There he is. Say hi, Milo. Say hi. Say hi. This is Milo right here. He likes to sit in the chair by Mom. This is Emma. And there's Gizmo. Shake. He's shaking. He says, I like to shake. Oh boy. Oh, okay, let's not get too loud. Okay, they're excited now, so we'll go back to calm and darker and see. They get excited. You say their names and they're like, yeah, that's me, man. What's up? I call them the Three Stooges sometimes. It's all right, everybody, calm down. Go lay down. Please go lay down. Go lay down. Go lay down, guys. Once you get them excited, it's over, y'all. It's the way it goes, I'm telling you. It just does. Terriers. Okay, so Milo, the one I first showed, he is a Morkie. So it's a Yorkshire Terrier Maltese mix because he's hyperallergenic. So my allergies, and my husband has asthma. Gizmo is a teddy bear, a Shih Tzu mixed with Bichon Frise. And Emma is a terrier. Emma is a terrier mixed with a Morkie, I believe. And so, yeah, we got two fuzzies and a shorter haired gal with a fuzzy face. These two boys, they both need their faces trimmed. Yeah. All right, guys, go lay down. Go lay down. It's okay. I see a bone over there. Who's gonna go get the bone? I see it. Oh, no. I think they thought I meant somebody was at the door. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I had to calm everybody down. Had to get some toys out. Getting a little rambunctious, and I had to adjust the lights on the greenhouses because my little greenhouses, I got the some of my plants that I'm going to be planting in flower beds soon. Um, yeah, so they have a light adjuster, so you can kind of adjust it to the lighting of the day. So you have bright lights, and then you have some really dim lights, and then there's like some colored lights. I think it's to kind of get the plants used to prepare them to be outside because of the different lighting during the day. So yeah, it's been interesting. Like I said, it's my first time gardening this year, um, growing food and stuff. So it's been interesting. Hi, buddy. This little guy, he's a good boy. Kitty Mo. You say hello. You got a toy? Did you get your toy? Go get your toys. Go get a toy. Go get a toy and bring it here. Who's got the toys? Oh, Emma grabbed a toy. What do you got, Milo? You get the squirrel? Oh, she's got the teddy bear. Get your squirrel. Where's your toys? Where's your squirrel? He's looking for it. He's got a squirrel he got for his birthday. Hi, buddy. How you doing? Are you feeling a little tired? Yeah, oh, buddy. He's a good boy. He tends to copy the older alpha male in the house. He's just a little guy. I kept getting worried because they all lost probably about 2 to 3 pounds after I took them off dry dog food. And now everybody's on homemade dog food. It's been 4 months now. And so they all kind of thinned out a little bit, but in a good way. It's just, you get used to seeing them all like they were just bloated and like just my dog, my female dog, Emma, she couldn't hardly jump anymore because she was so heavy. And it was all that dry dog food. It's just got so many like fillers in it. And even the good stuff, some of it isn't that great. So everybody's on homemade dog food now. And they do good. They do really good on it. And I don't buy the dog's food, like the dog treats anymore, because a lot of that stuff has red 40 in it, which is terrible for them and for us. And so I give them things like celery, carrot sticks, apples, things like that for snacks. And there's a lot of good stuff in fruit and veggies. The skins to them have lots of nutrients in them. And just to be on the safe side, to make sure they're getting enough nutrients, they're all on a multivitamin. They get 2 little heart-shaped chews a day, and those have all the stuff in them that could possibly be missing in the meals I prepare. I try to cover all the bases, but just in case. I get the darndest phone calls when I'm on when I'm on a live. It'll be all these weird numbers from different places. Dry cat food is this doggone referral link thing is driving me crazy because it's like in front of my chat. They put the darndest things on StreamYard, y'all. I think Ridgebacks are beautiful dogs. Yes, they are, Peggy. They sure are. Dry cat food is really. I'll wait till it goes up one and then we'll find it because I can't see it. But yeah, so I was really hoping PCT could come on, but me and her have we have a lot going on. And she's, got her kiddos, and I have an older son. He's not quite probably as challenged as Parker, but he has different issues of his own with anxiety problems and stuff. And so I totally can like relate to her and understand about, you know, the unpredictability. And when they get upset, you really have to focus and help them through it because, it's just the way you have to do it. And so, you know, we're all grown-ups and we all understand, that we have things that happen and it's always best when you do a live and you're going to do something fun that everybody's in the right frame of mind and the stress levels is down and all that good stuff. It really is. It really is. Yeah. I mean, I started out with the farmer's dog and it was great, because it's all homemade and you picked your flavors and then they would freeze it and then send it in like a freeze, well, not freeze dried, but like the dry ice boxes to keep it fresh. But then you always had to thaw it out and cut it up, and it was just, I don't know. I just ended up watching a program on YouTube one day and saw this gal making dog food, and it was like really easy and way less expensive than regular dog food, and so much better for them. And I'm just glad I switched. And like I said, I make it like a batch once a week. I alternate the flavors. I'll do ground turkey one week, boneless, skinless chicken breast the next week, and then ground beef. And then I just do brown rice, and I change the veggies out here and there with it. Sometimes I'll add some scrambled egg in there, some pumpkin. There's all sorts of different ways and recipes to just make sure that what you're putting in there is safe for them. And they love it. They really do. These guys didn't used to get so excited over dinner time. I mean, they'd be hungry, but then you'd hear the dry dog food clangling into the metal bowl, and now they can smell what I'm doing, and they get really excited over all of it, and it's just. But I'm happy that they're healthy and they're eating good, and once in a while my son sees big food storage bowls in there with the dog food, but it looks like fried rice, so he's always thinking it's fried rice. And you actually could eat it because there's nothing in it that's dog food related. It is for the dogs per se, but it's made with all regular, food. Uh-oh. Shh. Made with all regular, groceries and food that you would buy and you would eat yourself. So, person could eat it, just no seasoning. Sorry, I had to take care of something. Hey, Tibbles. I had to take care of a friend of mine keeps trying to call me on Messenger, and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm busy right now. But yeah, so I've been watching the Korean retrial. I'm not familiar with that one. Oh, well, yeah, no, I've seen the Karen Reed trial. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I have seen it, but I haven't looked into it. I just knew a little bit about it. Cats and dogs would have been eating small critters, the wild mice and rats, right? For sure. Don't you just love those spell stuff where you're like typing stuff and it like says you think it's fixing things, but it doesn't necessarily always fix it. Always end up having to retype something. Yeah, I know, Tiffles. I made it tonight, but PCT is. Hi, Sierra. How you doing, hun? You found me. Um, if you just came in, I was letting everybody know that PCT had something come up um, that she felt like would interfere with our live. So I didn't want to leave everybody hanging and have to reschedule again. Well, we will reschedule the one with her, but for now, I'm just gonna sit and hang out with y'all and chit chat for a little bit. And if anybody wants to talk about anything, I'm open. Just didn't want to have to do a short notice reschedule again like we did last night because we had our times off and completely had our times off. It was like so I was putting in the time that it would be for her instead of me. And so then by the time I realized that I needed to fix that, I got that fixed. Then in that time frame is when something came up for her and then something came up for me. So but yeah, she's everything's fine. She's just trying to deal with some family stuff. You know how that can be. We all deal with that sometimes. You just woke up. Oh Lord, you've been asleep for a minute, girl. Not feeling good at all. I hate it when I don't feel good. It's just like, because even when you rest, you still don't feel great, you know? You still feel that, like, just, ugh. So, yeah, I introduced the Three Stooges a little bit ago to Bullseye. Milo's sitting here beside me in the chair, so I thought I'd show the doggos. And as soon as I said something about one, they all came running. I thought, oh no, I'll never get them calmed down. I was impressed with. I really wonder how I can get that um, share your referral link. I wish I could get that to come off of there. It's like a really big, um, I'll probably only see it on my side, but it's a pretty big link thing that takes up a lot of the comments on one side, so I can see like part and then I lose the last part. It's kind of like a game where you have to guess what the rest of the words are to the sentence. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so for a few of you ladies that are new here, I have actually probably over 300, I believe it is now over 300 videos and shorts um of content on my channel that is all of like the trips and adventures I've gone on and a lot of the stuff on my bucket list, some projects we've done at the house. So there's all sorts of like content there and many, many lives. If you guys ever want to check it out if you're bored or whatever, there's some really good ones on there. There's a few with PCT. I've got a few where Beachy came up. There's one where me and PCT were live and some gentleman came up and we were like, didn't know who he was. Well, I think she finally figured out who it was because it was someone had been on her panel before, but it was interesting. And yeah, so there's a lot of, it's funny. I always joke that I have more content and videos and stuff uploaded on my channel than I have subscribers because I kind of started my channel like I knew I wasn't gonna like since it's about bucket list stuff. I thought, okay, well, when I go on trips, I'll go live. And, well, there goes the car door. Good Lord. Um, shh, come here. Come on, buddy. Come sit back down. It's okay. Come here. Um, so I thought I'd start putting content on my channel just to kind of get people ready for it. And it takes a while to get your subscribers up so you can go live. And I really wanted to go live on location all the time, which I have done lots of that. But I decided, it doesn't. I got to do stuff in between. I'm not going to be on vacation all the time. So we started adding different things into the channel, like projects that me and my husband do together, remodeling. Just recently gardening was added in. I've done a live where I showed how I do the dog food preparation. I did one live where I made chili. So just kind of a mixture of things, trying to keep things going in between, different bucket list trips and different things that I'm doing like that. The most recent bucket list was going back to Vegas with my husband, Bigfoot, because we hadn't been back there together except for one other time since we got married there 6 years ago. So and we had been trying to go on a trip together for a while, and it'd been that I just ended up having to keep going and doing these by myself. And we finally had a moment where we found someone in the family that could watch our dogs for a whole week, which is a big ask. And we were able to make the trip, and so it was really great. We had a great time out there, and it was amazing. And so there's a whole lot of footage on there from that. Um, yeah, I made a bunch of shorts and videos in Vegas. So, and there's also a live from Vegas down at the fountains by the Bellagio fountains. So that's a really fun one. Even Wild Angel doing a couple little moves to the some old R&B music that was playing out there after the fountains in between the music. So that was fun. Yeah, right. Let me see what it says after it I'm gonna have to talk to StreamYard and be like, look, y'all put this share your referral link. You need to put it they need to put it up in a different part of the page. What is one place you wish you could go? So one of the places I'd still like to go. Now, I've never been international. So I've never gone international yet. So my bucket list for international would be Australia and the UK. Um, I don't have a real big desire to visit anything northern or where it's really cold. I don't like cold. So, so I would say that, and then another really big one, is going to Mexico, to Cancun. Some really beautiful places down there along the Mexico, Mexico coast. There's some beautiful places to visit. So I think my next um, place I'm going to try to plan on going is Cancun, because me and my husband still have one more trip to take on this thing we got a long time ago, this timeshare thing. So we still have one more of those to do, and I also got another free cruise from the casino in March, and one of my older daughters would like to go on that adventure with me. So I think we're going to do a mother-daughter cruise, and yeah, so that'll be exciting. She wants to do it this fall. I don't want to do it in September again like last year because, like I said, I was like literally in the Bahamas just right off of Florida when Helene went up and around. And so there was a lot of excursions and things that got canceled and a lot of rough water that was kind of, hi Donna, how are you, love? Um, so basically, yeah. So I would say, so my next, I'm not sure, but I want to try to do the cruise along the Mexico coast, and do one that does some, I think there's like 3 or 4 ports along there. So we can choose from Carnival or Princess Cruise Lines. So I've got to kind of look because we have to have that reservation made by June, I believe. But probably before that, me and hubby have to both get passports, but we plan on going to Cancun. I'm hoping for it to happen this year. That's my wish. Maybe we can get it done around our anniversary this year, because that's kind of what we were planning last year. We never got our passports. We had so much stuff going on last year, end of last year. It was just really busy. So we're going to shoot for that. So I would say that the next trip, 2 trips this year, will be um, the cruise with my daughter. Hopefully that'll be in the Mexico area, and then a trip with hubby to Cancun. So that's kind of what I'm planning for this year. Now, given we did find an interesting little old classic 1977 Coachman Deluxe camper that we got a really, really, really decent price for this past, I think February is when we got it. February, yeah, February. And we've already started a few little things with it, but I'm going to do a tour with that. That's going to be some other content we're going to be doing soon. Right now we have the cover on it. We need to take that off now that it's done snowing. And I'm going to do an outside tour to show you guys the outside of it, and then we'll do a walkthrough. And then we're going to get started. We've started cleaning, getting it cleaned up, but there's a lot of things we need to get ready to do with it to get it like ready to go and have the kids in it and everything. So in 4.5 weeks, we'll be picking up my hubby's younger kids that we have every summer. And our surprise for them, one of them, is that we're going to get the camper all ready, get it all taken over to one of the campgrounds, get it all parked and ready to go. And then we pick them up in Nebraska. And so when we come back, instead of coming to the house, we'll be coming to the camper as a surprise because they don't know that we got it for them. And so they have a big surprise coming. And so we're going to spend a lot of time gardening, planting, learning about growing food, and then doing a lot of outdoor stuff this summer. Camping will be a big thing. So what I'll do is every week we'll do an update, maybe twice a week. Once I show the camper as it is now, then I will start to show updates every week of what we'll be doing with it. So the progress we're making with it. We've kind of already got a plan. We've bought a lot of supplies, that the things that are like immediate we need to take care of like right now, right? That's what we're focusing on. And then once we get it cleaned up and kind of get that stuff going, get the curtains changed up, just get it all dressed up a bit, and it'll look really nice. And then we'll we're gonna replace, like, the bunks because there's some mattresses that are on the bunks for the kids, but they're old and we don't know how long they've been there, so we're gonna replace those and then get a mattress piece to put in the front for us because it's an older style camper, so the front of it has, like, your big dinette set, and then the table drops down, and these pieces pull out from underneath the benches, and they make basically with the cushions, that makes up front bed. But I have a messed up back and body, it's all broken, so I can't lay on no shit uncomfortable like that. So what we're gonna do is we will lay a mattress, 4 or 5-inch memory foam mattress piece that will lay on top of that, and that'll be since it's solid, because what happens with those mattresses, not mattresses, cushions, is you're laying on a bunch of cushions pushed together. I mean, even a small person would get sore laying like that because that stuff's not gonna stay together. So, basically, a couple new beds, to put on the beds for everybody, and I already have all the bedding and stuff, so we didn't need any of that because we have our camping bedding and tons of extra pillows. So we pretty much have everything. We're gonna put a couple, shelves, a shelf on in each bunk area for the kids for their little computers or DVD players, whatever, to sit on when they're in their bunks, and they'll be on basically not a bracket, they'll be on a hinge where they will lay down against the wall when not being used, but then you pull them up and lock them in place and get an instant little stand there. So that's the plan for the camper. But giving, while we've got that we need to deal with, we also have my son's camper that needs some of the same things done to it that ours does, and then our big, I call it our big RV, the mobile home here, that we still have siding and stuff that we're working on and windows that we need to take out. So we have a lot going on around here. And I'm real motivated and energetic most of the time, and I can get a whole lot accomplished. Bigfoot, on the other hand, tends to be more laid back and he's not really moving very fast. And I want to get things done. So we're kind of completely on a different end of the teeter totter when it comes to productivity. I'm sure some of you can rationalize that with me if if you have ever been in a relationship or married to anybody that tends to be a little less excited than you are about things. Oh, thanks, Donna. You could do a travel safety video. That would be cool. Yeah, I could, I should do that. And actually, I will do that. I'll definitely do it when we get ready to go on the next cruise because, I did a lot of research before I went on the first cruise, especially since it turned on into me having two people that couldn't end up going. And then I ended up going by myself, so I really was, like, wanting to, like, understand the whole process, but I definitely will do that, especially when we go to Cancun because we'd be going into Mexico, and you gotta keep your eyes peeled and, make sure you're safe, especially when you're going into an uncharted area for you, so there's that. So yeah, I definitely will do that. That's a really good idea. Thank you, Sierra, for mentioning that. That's great. That'll work. So, for you ladies out there that you have the same medicine as me, which is my smoke medicine, light them up if you got them. Otherwise, have a cup of tea or coffee. I'm having, don't ask me why, having a bit of coffee. The puppy's laying on the floor, and the dog that's laying on the couch is doing some sort of a seance with the other one. They're entertaining. Shh, quiet now. Yes, he's got the bone, but it's not near him. So if you wanted it, I'm pretty sure you could get it. They have this one bone, one small bone, and it has like the stuff inside of it. They've had it forever, but whoever ends up with that bone, now they're all going to start going, you guys. Now, see, little man, he's the youngest, right? So he knows that the male is the alpha. She is the alpha mama. I call her alpha mama because when she gets mad, neither one of them mess with her because she'll take either one of them. It's okay, buddy. There are bones in your dog there. Hold on. 1 second. I'm gonna go get the dog food box. Hey, 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 hey. First, yeah. Quiet, quiet, quiet. No barking, please. What? Oh, man. Nobody move for a minute. Sorry, guys. Got a slight disaster to clean up. Usually, what happens when you get busy doing something else, when your eyes are not looking in one direction, something goes on. Okay. So, you already did. Wow, these guys. Heck is going on? I came over here to get your toy box out. Anybody can't tell me. Well, let's behave. Okay. Put on the dog movie for you guys. A little bit. How's that fun? Yeah. Love to watch dog TV, guys. Okay. What did I come over here to get? See how you guys get me sidetracked every time I try to do something? Check this little bone. Toy box. Here's two. One bone, two bones. Three bones. One for every one of the dogs. That's five dogs. Okay? There. There you go. There you go. Okay. We good now? Maybe. You never know. Right? So the next thing happens. You guys. Look, I can see you guys have lots of toys and bones out. So I think you guys should. Are we good for a little bit? Can I talk to the audience now? You guys gonna be okay? Yeah. Okay. We'll see. Right? We'll see how far I get before the next thing happens. Right? Yeah. This is characters, guys. I'm sure if y'all have animals, you know exactly what I mean. They're just as fascinating as people, if not more so, because they just do the darndest things sometimes. And so do we, right? We kind of do too. Okay, now that I did all that, I got all three of them, all the bones out, and now they're all just sitting there looking at each other. I'm just like, wow, they're characters themselves. Okay, what did I miss here? My sister's. Oh, wow. This sounds awesome. How often do you travel? Well, I'll go with kind of the schedule from last year. So last year, let's see. All right. Last year started April. End of April last year, I went to New York for the first time. And then let me think here. Okay. So New York, and then okay. And then Nebraska in August. And then in September, went to Texas, stayed a night in Galveston, visited Texas for my first time being there ever, and then got on the cruise ship and went to the Bahamas. So it was my first time to go there. And then In October, went to Michigan, and then in so that was last year. So Michigan in October was my last trip last year. And then this year it would have been, yeah, first week of March, we went to Vegas. So last year I did a lot more traveling than I probably ever have before, but I would say like, 2 to 3 times a year, more than likely. Hi, Aussie Durkheim. How are you? You're beautiful. QE2, Queen Elizabeth cruise to England. Oh, I bet that'd be amazing. That sounds amazing. That would be great. There's some amazing cruises, and I just got to like work myself into the longer trips because I'm kind of one of those 2 3 hour flight people that I do really good with those shorter flights, but I'm just trying to imagine because I've always wanted to go to Australia. That's like one of my like was one probably one of my number one international bucket list um things places, sorry. And when I looked up how far away it is and how long the flight is, I almost passed out, y'all. I almost passed out from shock. I was just like 21 hours. I'm like, how on earth? So it was interesting. Yeah, I always wanted to come. And this is something I was talking about years ago, when I first started thinking about this whole shh, please don't, please. Here, come sit by me. Calm down. All right. Um, I always thought, Vegas is like one of the main hubs, especially for international flights and stuff. And I would imagine that because they do offer a lot of reasonable flights, even domestically from anywhere to Vegas, they probably have good deals from other countries. But you should, Aussie, come over. And I always tell people a good place to meet, like if you wanted to meet some friends to like get a tour. Vegas is a great place. Because I'm saying like the flights would probably be really reasonable. Um, or like whatever states or areas that are on the closest coastline to your country. So I'm trying to think in my mind, to see the map and seeing where Australia is. Um, so okay, because UK is on the east coast side across the pond on the Atlantic side, and so Australia is on the West Pacific side, but down southern part, south of there, right? Am I on the right? Am I on the right page? Yeah, I haven't seen her out and about for a bit. It's nice here, but it depends on where you come to. The coastal states are absolutely beautifully amazing, and so I recommend those would be beautiful places to visit. Um, the middle of the United States, from one coast to the other, is literally a lot of these states. It's a lot of corn and cornfields, and it's just there's places that are unique, but they're just not as many as the coastal states. So there's that. I remember when we went to Vegas, I told Leanie, I said, you should come. I said, you and your hubby, beefsteak, you guys should, beefcake. You said, guys should come, come out there. It'd be cool. And maybe someday they can or something. But we don't have a whole lot of like what I call like other couples that are friends. Like we know other people, but there's not a whole lot of couples that we know that like we hang out with or anything like that. So it's kind of, yeah. I know we used to, but it was mostly my husband's brother and his wife, just because they were really cool. So, you know, but I think when you have a big family, you're just really busy with all the aspects of the different people, and and things that are going on all the time, it's hard to have a lot of time to seek out, having other like, you know, other than like I've met a lot of awesome people on here and have a lot of, nice friendships on here, and that's amazing because but it's hard to keep up. I mean, me and my best friend, we used to Shh. Hey, hey, why are you barking? There's nobody here, guys. I promise you. It's just the neighbors. It's just a car door. Hold on. Me. All it takes is a car door from a distance, and they think there's an emergency. It's unsettling some days. It's like, well, if you guys bark about everything, then how am I going to know when there's an emergency? Exactly. Yeah. It's a big trip, It is when you're flying to a whole nother country. I've got to build myself up to it. So I'm sure like the next trip that I take, like I said, if we go to Cancun, that's a lot longer flight than what I normally take. So that will be a bit longer of a trip than, and then maybe the next one after that will be, we'll look into it. But one thing I did look into when I was gonna check on flights international is that August and September, because it's off season, are the cheapest months to get international flights, and they're half price. And just to make sure they were telling the truth about that, I made sure I checked those ticket prices in those months, and they sure were. The cheapest ticket I found, and this was from the UK to over here, was like 696, I think, just under $700. And I looked it up at other times of the, other months, and it's definitely half price. So that's wild. But then, and that was American Airlines. I don't know if it's all airlines, but that was that one particular one. I think they're having a fight over the bones, guys. I may have done a bad thing by getting them all out. Excuse me. Oh, great. One went under the chair, and the dog is all the way crouched down on the floor trying to get out. These guys are characters. They really are. They keep you entertained in between, you know, surprise visits from the adult kids or uh, Bigfoot coming in and out the door. Excuse me. Okay. Now, I was just thinking about something that I might be able to do that I was going to do a long time ago, but I've forgotten several times when I've been on lives. I just I don't know about these guys if they're going to be quiet long enough. It'll be like I was going to read y'all something that I wrote in college. It's really cool. But I'm going to wait a few minutes and see how these guys do. Can you get the bone out from underneath the chair, ma'am? Can you get it out? I hear a lot of tumbling and rumbling, but not a lot of production there. Did you get it out? Oh, I think she finally got it, y'all. Well, she was underneath there for a minute trying to get that. She'll get all the way down on the floor, and she's got pretty long paws, pretty long arms there, and she'll just stick them, get up under and swipe stuff. Interesting, right? So yeah, so I did a lot of writing in college, and I remembered when I was younger, I did write a lot and journal a lot and do like, I wouldn't say that it was necessarily poems. There might have been a few of those, but I would write these like interesting versions of different moments and memories I would have as a teenager. So they were really cool. And I had them in like this, I don't know if I can find all of them. I do remember that I have like a box in my storage unit that probably has some of that old stuff from, how you keep stuff from back in the day sometimes. I think they might be in there. But I wrote a lot of stuff in college for Comp 1 and 2 classes, and I just thought, I was going to college for marketing management, but some of the classes that you take when you're doing a certain degree, there's multiple things that are involved in that degree, so you'll be taking like many different things. So that was one of them I decided to take. Excuse me, like my first year, and I liked it so much when I did. Well, first I did elements of writing, and I loved that, and I loved the teacher. So I did Comp 1. I found out she was going to teach that class again, but in Comp 1, which is like the next one up from the elements of writing. So I took the class because I loved that teacher. She was great. So I wrote some pretty neat stuff, and I was going to read you guys one of the pieces I wrote. So hang on, real quick and grab it. Hopefully, I can read pretty fast, so hopefully you guys will be good while I read it to you. And maybe, once in a while I can I can read them. I might be able to figure out a way to do some kind of a way to upload, like read them, upload it. I'm trying to figure out how to do it on my channel to where I could have it to where it'd be available for um, for others to read it. Because obviously I wouldn't be able to send everybody copies. That would be a lot of copies, right, guys? So okay, here we go. Let me get this out. Get a hold of it. There we go. Okay, here we go. All right, this is called stress. Imagine that. And wow, 1 second. I literally, I see. I said if I start reading, something will happen. It isn't the dogs. Now it's the husband. Okay, I'm live, dude. He probably didn't remember. Okay, we're gonna try this again. All right. Remember the diaries? Oh, do I ever? Yeah, I hang out with a lot of my family too. Okay, here we go. Stress. I believe stress may be one of the most difficult human emotions that I have ever experienced. Over the centuries, everything about humanity has become more difficult, allowing the overwhelming emotion free rein over one's ability to rationalize situations without pressure. I define stress as a Mach 10 emotion. For me, this one emotion that has no time constraints, it interrupts the balance we as human beings depend on to maintain our balance and sanity. We have all heard or used the phrase stressed out. Why do we say this? When we suffer from high levels of physical or psychological stress, it is our way of letting others know, even ourselves at times, that we are on overload. Being able to recognize this emotion, manage it, takes patience. I can honestly tell you that the range of stress people experience is variable due to the complexity of their lifestyles and choices. Nevertheless, this has been by far the hardest emotion for me to manage in my life. When I think about stress and the ways that it has affected my life, one word comes to mind: war, in quotations. This is what seems to be unfolding as I frantically attempt to sort through all of the information and details running through my mind. At the same time, I'm trying to keep the soldiers on the battlefield in attention. As I have matured, I often wonder why I never noticed this battle so vividly in the past. The only sensible explanation is that as we add and subtract events and experiences in life, the degree of their impact takes precedence to our current level of tolerance. This has been a turning point for me in recognizing and understanding stress. For me, though, I have been overflowing with it, like a river with no connection to the sea. When life rolls the boat of stress my way, it feels like a river flowing on with no destination. At the same time, I'm vividly looking for a quiet harbor to dock my boat in, to allow my engines a rest from the rough and treacherous sea of life. So many times I have longed for a safe harbor, but the water often comes and carries me away. All too often, I visualize where this safe harbor could possibly be and what direction I should take to find it. I know it exists, but finding the peaceful place often requires us to find the missing directions needed to manage and maintain our journey in life. Many will be a test of our strength and endurance. Others may be just what we bring into our lives by choice. Nevertheless, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it also takes an experienced captain at sea to steer his ship through rough seas. Without his crew, he may not make it through. Shh. We will need guidance and a crew of family, friends, and mentors to help us guide our ship through calmer waters. In return, our lives will be less likely to collide with the S word. And so I wrote this. It would have been my second year in college when I did Comp 1. Um, yeah. And so that was one of them. And like I said, I have a few. Some of them are longer than others, but I'll try to share them with you guys once in a while. I hope you guys were able to hear that. I tried to read it, not read too fast, and thank goodness the dogs almost made it through. Um, but yeah, so hopefully you guys heard that, and if not, you can rewatch and listen. But it's a really good one. I really like that, and um, I've shared, with some close friends. I've sent them like a set of my different, some of my favorite stuff from school that I wrote, and they've really enjoyed it. But I would like to share it with my subs and my other friends on here. And so there you go, guys. Not sure what you thought of that. If everybody's still out there listening, I only got a couple people still watching. So, but like I said, if you couldn't stick around, rewatch it and tell me what you think. You can leave a comment after the live, and I'll check those out. But next week, maybe what I'll do is on the days that I do the garden updates, to show you guys the growth and progress of the gardening and planting. I could throw one of these in each week when we're doing that, and reach you guys some more. Um, but yeah. Put that in here. Amazing what won't sit up and what will. Anyway, so yeah, so that's one of my favorite ones. It was interesting, um, kind of getting back in touch as an adult college student and getting back in touch with things that you kind of forget about things as you get older and life happens and you have family. And I remember when I started into the college classes and got into that writing stuff, I was like, I had forgotten that I loved that. That at one time that was like a really big thing for me, that I really loved journaling, like, and writing. Sometimes I can just be sitting there and I'll think of something amazing, like I'll just get this like something in my head and I write it down. So I used to do a lot of that, um, which was really helpful, especially if I was doing any kind of essay assignments and I needed titles for things. So, um, but yeah, so I don't know. It's a interesting Friday, I have to say. Pretty quiet. It's 8:00 p.m. here. What says you guys? What do you guys have for time where you're at? As Leanie says, what says you guys? What time you guys have at your home, in your place of residence, in your country or your state? I'm not sure what my husband wanted. He usually doesn't call me at all. And really, it's funny how you won't get many phone calls. Okay. Well, it wasn't too awful important, but yeah, he just wanted to touch base. Okay. Yeah, I got you on that. So, how about you guys? Hey, where's what's on your bucket list? What couple places? Give me one in country and one out that you would like to visit if you're still there. I wanted to see what you guys thought, but I don't know if anybody's. We don't have any chatting going on. What is wrong with you guys? It's coffee. Food, coffee. Okay, it's just coffee. My dog is literally standing on her back legs. You guys trying to stick my coffee cup. Okay. Wow, these guys are really trying to figure it out. They want to bark at their mommy. I don't know why. Every time I do something, they think because I make them food now that everything I move and get out of the refrigerator or open or shut, anything is like part of like their meal. So there's that part of it. Relax. So yeah, so hopefully a couple of you out there heard that, and I probably decided to read it at a bad time when everybody was away from the chat for a minute or away from um, the program for a minute. So we'll see if we get feedback later. And I can always reread it at another time too. Try to like, it's hard sometimes because you'll get like a flow in chat and then I'll have something that'll go on. So one of the other reasons why I'm really anxious to go get the camper going is because I'm going to start going up there and doing lives in there. I'm going to get my lights set up in there and it'll be nice and plug on in and away we go and it'll be quiet. And yeah, you don't hear anything. You just think you do. Goodness gracious. Yeah, I used to on my 360, whenever anybody in the family would come, like would be coming towards the house, it would ding like a few blocks away, right? And the dogs literally figured out exactly what that meant. It didn't take them long. And so, yeah, there's that. So we haven't heard that, but because I had to like take that notification off of 360 because it was getting ridiculous because they would be barking like before my husband got here, it would ding, and then when he showed up, it would ding again. And so they would just like be beside themselves twice in a row. So yeah, so if any, excuse me, shh. If anybody just came in, I just read an essay that I wrote in college, quite a few years ago, obviously, and well, it was actually, I believe I wrote that. It would have been about 2007, so it's been a long time back. But I wrote a essay called "Stress," and we all know what that is. And so I just read that about 5-10 minutes ago, somewhere in that range. Um, but yeah, and so and somehow I managed to get through the whole thing, except for right at the end, they started to kind of like think they were going to bark, and then they let me finish, which was amazing because I think they were actually listening to me read it. That's probably why they weren't barking for a minute. Hello, Beachy dear. I just was reading one of my essays from school, I thought I'd start with the one that's the one we all deal with the most is stress. So I figured I'd read that one um, yeah, I'm trying to balance the dogs and their rational barking. You know exactly what I'm talking about when you least expect it, or like when we get on a call and you just get ready to say one word and she barks with you. You're like, wait a minute. So yeah, they know what they're doing. I'm definitely for sure about that. So yeah, we've been just chatting a little bit about. I was one of the gals asked me places I want to go, and since I've visited quite a few in the United States, I named off a few of my international bucket lists wishes, and then um, plans for this year will be um, taking a mother daughter cruise, and then hopefully getting to go to Cancun with Bigfoot if we can stay afloat until our next anniversary. I just kid. I always make that joke, but um, yeah. So oh, and this summer we'll probably go back up to Michigan again to visit my awesome friend Peachy. That's definitely one of the things that we'll do, and we'll probably. I'm not sure if we're going to pull the camper up that far or not. We'll see how it goes. We'll see, how it does when we're pulling it and stuff local before we go 8 hours with it. We do have an older truck, so if I had a brand new truck, I'd be just flying down the highway with it like everyone else does. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna go short distance and see how we do, and make sure we got this all down before we get on the road and pull the camper too crazy far, um, but I've always got plans. I always got a backup plan. I mean, if we didn't want to haul the camper, we could take the van, we make it into a camper, and we use a tent. And we got two people that sleep in a tent, two in the camper, or two in the van, and three dogs. And we did it last year with the kids, and it was fun. Bigfoot and little Bigfoot, they were in a big teepee tent that he found that he just loves. And then me and his daughter were in the van with the three dogs. It's comfy, it works. You do what you got to do. I don't think we really were planning on buying a camper. We've been looking at them for a while, and I managed to get my son a pretty good deal on one. It had a little bit of storm damage from our derecho years ago, but it's something we can fix. It's fixable. So it was a lot of campers got damaged up here, and people had to like fix them. Not everybody fixed them the right way. They did kind of makeshift patching, so there's some things that have to be done, but they're not undoable things, and they're not things that cost thousands of dollars. So that's why we went ahead and just went with something a little bit less expensive with a little bit of repair that needs done, opposed to spending out of your budget, which a lot of people do quite often. And I just think it's better to, if you're going to purchase something, you have the money, buy it, you own it, you don't got to pay no one else for it. And then whatever you spend on it is on you, is up to you to do what you want. But we like looked at this camper and determined, because we can do that, being Bigfoot right off the bat, that we could put about probably, when we get all done with the bathroom and the kitchen, a few little things we're going to do, we might be putting like maybe 1,000 in it, but that's not going to be all at once. That's going to be over time. And that's not bad when we paid 1,000 for the camper. Um, it's really not a bad investment. So it should be fun. And, we gotten some couple really good deals on Marketplace this past like 3 months. We've just been looking out for really good deals, and a lot of people sell things brand new in a box, never been used. So I got a Keurig in a mint color that's kind of like that 1960s, 70s color. So I got that. Somebody got it as a gift from like the college or something, and they sold it brand new, still wrapped. So got that for the camper. Got a little orange microwave that's retro. It's really cute. It's kind of the era, And we got a one of those outdoor theater kits where it's got the big screen, and then the projector and a speaker that comes with it. That was brand new in a box. And so, like, we've just found all sorts of good deals. Got his daughter an upgrade on a smart TV. Somebody had bought it. It wasn't the right size they needed, and they couldn't find their receipt to return it back to Walmart. So he just figured it'd be easier to list it. And so we got it like I mean, it was in the box still and everything. So I think won $100, and it was like $150 TV. So that was a pretty good deal. So I think we spent like $300 is all we allotted ourselves. Our limit was 500 to buy odds and ends off of our taxes, and so we had kind of like a budget for it, and we still stayed under that, and got quite a few brand new things for the kiddos and the camper and different things like that. So did pretty good staying in the budget. I've spent the rest of the budget on the gardening stuff and that, but that's going to help us to grow food and feed the dogs and the family. So that's in the long run going to pay off, right? Going to be a mini farmer. Me and Beach, you're working away at it, taking on the challenge of growing our own food. The only thing was that only fruit I got for planting was watermelon, and I got to thinking about it the other day. His daughter absolutely adores strawberries, so I think I'm gonna do strawberries, but I want to like try to get some of this stuff started before I get into anything else. And if I do the strawberries instead of buying the regular seeds, I'm gonna do the version I watched on a YouTube video where you take the strawberry and you cut the whole strawberry into slices, right? And the outside of a strawberry, that's where all the seeds are. And then you take those slices and you lay them down, and then you cover them with dirt. And yeah, they'll sprout the strawberry plants right out of those. And so I was thinking about doing something like that. And they have these really neat, many different ways to do your strawberries. There's many, many different ways. So I got all delved into that one night and was watching all these different, and then looking on Amazon to see what kinds of different potters that they offer for different ways to grow strawberries. And so, yeah, so I might do those. That may be the only other thing I take on, though, because we've already got 2 kinds of lettuce, 2 kinds of tomatoes, tons of watermelon, a lot of cucumber, some of the green onions, which are like the small onion with the straw top, with the long top, like a salad onion. And then the carrots. So we have a lot. And there may be, I believe, in the pot back there, the big one with all of the little tomato plants growing in there, I believe the 6 apple seeds that I pulled out, put in the pot, forgot about, don't know what happened to them, but I'm pretty sure that one of the little plants in there that's growing is definitely an apple plant, because it's completely different than the tomato. And it has a thicker stem growing on it, and it's a little different at the top. So maybe one of those 6 made it. And it's kind of weird, because I was actually going to plant those and see what they would do, but then I did a research, and it said that it can take 5 years almost for an apple tree to grow all the way to grow, where it produces apples. And I thought, well, that's a really long adventure. So I don't know, but we'll see. If it was up to me and I had more of a private property than what we like leased this one, but if it was different than that and I had a big area, I would be growing all sorts of trees, y'all. I'd have all sorts of fruit trees. It would just be like this, like, yeah, I'd probably be outside all the time, gardening, because the more you take on, the more you have to take care of. But I'm looking at the fact that I'm going to have 2 helpers that we'll all be learning together the processes, and there's a lot to it. It's kind of like feeding your pets, feeding your children, feeding your family. You got to make sure that things aren't toxic to them. You got to make sure that the things you're growing don't get diseases in them. You got to make sure that the critters don't get your plants that you're trying to feed your family with. So it's a big thing, but it keeps me motivated and I'm excited about it. And I'm also excited about trying to get this piece of, I have one piece of crown, y'all, that has been needing to be put in the last part of my bedroom remodel for years. And it's on the wall on the side where the big opening is for the bathroom and then the closet. So you can't really tell it's not there, but I mean, I can tell. But I've been wanting to get that piece forever. And we talk about it. And then I did his daughter's room and I did 2 long pieces in her room. And I was like thinking to myself, why didn't I just have him get the third one, get the one done in our room? And then, of course, I'll do her last one when we finish this wall that we're going to be doing, well, here soon. I want to say probably in the next week, we're going to get in there. I've started slowly taking everything out of there, down off the wall, kind of moving things around. So we're preparing for it. There's always a big preparation before you do any kind of remodeling, especially if it's a room where you've got everything set up already. So we got to prep the room, hang the plastic to protect everything on the other side of the room so nothing gets over there. But we have a full schedule of house, camper, and several projects, and we try to get those wrapped up as much as we can before the kids come. Although my husband isn't, like I said, as ambiguous and productive as me, so he's not like motivated to, like, I'm like, just remember we're on a deadline. If the deadline works at work, it should work at home. Let's use the deadline. We need to get A, B, and C done, and then just do so many projects in each week that you plan stuff. So we're trying to get to that. We have had some crappy rain the last few days, on and off. Um, so I'm just waiting because I have a 15-foot piece of crown and I need 12.5 feet of that. It's a really long piece, but it looks so much better than putting several small pieces together to just have a nice flowing long piece. So I try to do that with all of these, the areas that we've done crown. We try to do a continuous piece because they just look so much better, especially here because we have shifting due to the weather changes in the ground. And so that shifting, you don't want anything that's coming together because you're going to probably be able to tell. So we found a place, Home Depot up here, that actually sells it by the foot. And so you can pick the exact length you need. And because normal pieces, the largest you can get in basic sizes is the 12-foot. And so we need 12 foot, 5 inches, so close. But yeah, so I need to get that last piece put in our bedroom. And then when her wall's finished on that side, there'll be one more piece. And literally, they will be the last 2 pieces of crown needed in the entire house. Like, I'll finally be done putting that stuff up. I've been working on it room by room, every room we've done over the last 6 years. That's like the last part you do is you put your crown up and then your baseboards on the floor. And so yeah, I'll be glad when it's finished. I'll be glad when I get those last 2 pieces done because it's been a long time going. Ah. Yeah, they do. BT, they sure do. Um, this share your referral link thing is absolutely driving me absolutely crazy because it's on the right side of the bottom of the chat. So it's literally like, so I have to wait until the box moves up and then I can read the last bit. But it would almost be fun with this being like this for me to go in and read the first part of people's messages and then try to guess what the rest says and see how close I get because it's literally on my side. I'm sure no one else can see this link thing, but it's funny. I know, I don't know where that word came from. It just flew out. I'm like, oh my Lord. It must be. Important thing though is if you're not wearing gloves and you touch dirt or any kind of stuff that's in any of your potted plants or anything you're doing, always make sure you wash your hands thoroughly, because you want to make sure there's no cross contamination, since there is multitudes of things in these soils. So I just thought I'd put that warning out there. Not that people don't know, but just a good thing to keep in mind. And if you're a person that it easily forgets to do things like that, throw a pair of gloves on. It's better to be safe than sorry, I say. Share your referral link. Okay, if I push this again, will it go away? No, it just puts it on there and it's still there. Beach. I know, I'm so silly. Bigfoot is on his way to Independence to see my youngest son. Check on him, see what he's up to. Usually has to go up and kind of say, hey man, let's clean this spot up. He's another unmotivated one. But he does love bike rides. He lives in a really beautiful place right along the river, and it's really nice. And he's got his own little camper. Um, I got tired of doing all that moving. He'd move here, move there, and then he just doesn't like to live around a lot of people. And so these apartments, it would be too like much noise and people, like things going on, right? Or I think they put him in an apartment one time and he was right above an older gal, which obviously, she's not going to want to listen to his music. So it's just better for him to have his own spot where, he doesn't have to move, doesn't have to leave, won't get kicked out of his apartment, has his own camper. It's his own little house, a little tiny house, and we got some things we have to do to upgrade it, but we've got the plans kind of made out, and he's a little closer to us now. So we'll be able to get up there this summer, and we'll probably take ours up there and park it for a few days and do the work, get it all done, and yeah, and hang out up there. That'd be interesting, you guys. I've got to figure out something now. I've got this like plan, and I got to look at the kitchen again to try to figure out where to put it. But I want to design a pull-out drawer that comes out from the bottom of the cabinet of the kitchen area. That will be where the dog bowls will sit, so that I can just pull it out, feed the dogs, clean the bowls, slide it back under and out of the way, but makes it easy for us to feed them and not have bowls all over the floor. And then I have an extra automatic dog fountain, like kind of like the one I'd shown everybody before, but this one is it's a little bit different, and it's the one we use when we travel. So I have one for at home and one for when we go on the road. These guys love to travel. They really had a good time. They do really good in the car too. I was so proud of them. I mean, we drove 8.5 hours up to Michigan, but we were smart. We went like we did, like you would with kids. Travel at night when they're tired, they'll go to sleep. You get there in the morning, and then the day starts. But at least you have some peace while you're driving at night, and you can get further. And there's less traffic at night. So other than the fact we ran into a deer before we even left our state, we were literally just getting ready to enter the new state. you know, and so yeah, so we hit a deer, and so yeah, and it was one of those like wow moments, like slow motion. I looked over, my husband's taking a drink of his coffee mug, and just as he's taking a drink, like you see this deer going all back and forth in the road, and Bigfoot's going back and forth trying to avoid hitting him, and in the end we still did, you know, kind of bump him, and he took off our driver's side mirror, broke the door handle a little bit, uh, made some dents on the door, but we were still able to drive on, so that's great. I know you're probably getting tired. It's a 9:30, girl. You and Tiffles be going to bed early. I don't know. If I fall asleep early, then I end up waking up, and then I'm up for hours and hours and hours, and then I'll end up staying up all night and then trying to go back to sleep early in the morning, and it just doesn't work out. So I'm gonna try to stay on an maybe try to stay up till close to midnight, and that way I'll stay asleep till morning. But yeah, so all right. Well, I'm probably gonna end this. Everybody's kind of popped off out of the chat already, and but it was great. Thanks for everybody coming out. It was great seeing you guys. We'll get this rescheduled with PCT. Hopefully, we can have a day where we can get through the day and nothing goes on. It may be one of those things where instead of planning it, we have to do a quick live because there's a moment when things are calm and that's you're only going to get that moment, right? So if it's something like that, I'm sure that we'll both send out links to everybody to let them know, because it can take a while for it to come up. um it'll come up on the channel or whatever, but sometimes I like to still send people share the live and upcoming, because if you don't have your notifications on, it's easy to miss things. So but yeah, I really appreciate everybody coming out. Sorry that we weren't able to do the planned live, but I was trying to kind of fill the time in with something else, and read you guys something cool. And hopefully those of you who didn't get to hear that can rewatch, since it's not a super long live. Rewatching is not as bad, right? And but yeah, I appreciate all of you, and we'll be back soon with something exciting going on. There's always something going on around here, so it'll either be a project or it will be PCT and me being silly. So it'll be one of those two will come up in the near probably 3 to 4 days. So just be watching out. And like I said, if it's something that we have to do it like right now, because literally last night she asked me when the times were all off, she's like, should we just do it now? And now looking back, I wish I would have said, yeah, let's just do it now. You know what I mean? Because at that moment, neither one of us had anything going on, and then it didn't take long before that changed. So, but thanks everybody for coming out. This is Wild Angels Bucket List Adventures, bringing adventures to you and taking you along the ride and showing you what's going on in life. And appreciate everybody supporting the channel, and don't be afraid to come up and share anytime you want in chat. You're welcome to come up. I don't always put up, open panel on my title. Sometimes I do, because then people know that that's what we're going to do. But I'm always happy to have somebody come up and hang out. Like I said, otherwise I'm in the black void up here, and that's not always a lot of fun. But as long as there's something going on in the chat, at least there's an interaction, and that's always great. So thanks everybody. Thanks mods. Love you guys. See you soon. Signing off. Have a great Friday. Bye.